Everyone. This is Blanca, the host of the Laws of Life platform. And today we're doing something a little bit different. We are going live with the Laws of Life learning, and we will be doing several courses today to have everyone have a chance to learn something they may not ordinarily know. Our first speaker is our Laws of Life member, Mike Armstrong. He's one of the top networkers in the world. He's from England. He's an expert in marketing and Clubhouse strategization, and he will be teaching us Clubhouse strategy. The schedule will be as follows. From 1 to 2:30, Mike Armstrong will do Clubhouse strategization. From 2:30 to 3, I will teach Linktree and follow-up strategy. From 3:30 to 4:30, Addie Roush will teach Canva and video editing strategies. From 4:30 to 5, Luana Sandoval will teach us songwriting. And from 5 to 5:30, Brenda Rover will teach us DNA is not your destiny. So without further ado, we are live. Let's start off with Mike Armstrong, our Clubhouse expert.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? Yes, I'm Mike Armstrong, otherwise known as the Welsh Dragon, and I'm on Clubhouse 24/7 basically, in a room called Screw the Big Rooms on Clubhouse, because to me Clubhouse is all about connecting and networking and collaborating with each other, and you don't tend to be able to do that in the big rooms, because the big rooms is all about trying to get you into their funnel and trying to sell you something, and they don't give the people who go on a great experience. So I'm going to educate people how to have a great experience on Clubhouse. I've been on it for 12 weeks. I started at the beginning of January, and I've been running my 24/7 room for the last 10 weeks. So I would say I'm quite experienced in sort of the do's and the don'ts of Clubhouse, and what is working and what's not working. I've got about 3,500 followers on Clubhouse. I've got 4 clubs, and my biggest club has got about 600 members. get 7 things done at once. Or like when I do my podcast, I do a Zoom, a podcast, I do a YouTube channel and social media content. This is 4 things at once, yeah? So I'm doing 7 things at once on Clubhouse, 4 things at once on Zoom, yeah? But whatever you're doing, whatever the reasons you are on Clubhouse, should be what your profile is, you know, weighted towards, if you like. So if you're on Clubhouse, so the reason I said about the 7 things is because, like, I love to learn, I love to teach, I love to listen and speak, I love to network and collaborate, yeah, and I love socializing. So if you like, all aspects of me, that's my whole life, really. So it's not whether it's business or it's pleasure, it's all, yeah, it's all a bit of everything. So I put a bit of everything into my profile because I want to resonate to people who might want to teach me something, or might want to learn something from me, or might want to socialize with me, or connect with me on my hobbies or my interests, or they might want to do a bit of business with me, or collaborate with me on an event, or a podcast, or whatever. So I put a bit of all of me in, really, because, you know, it's all of me I'm putting into Clubhouse. So I put all of me into my profile, yeah? So so that's what I would say. But some people use it as a networking tool and a business tool. Some people use it just to socialize with. So, you know, so those profiles would look very different and should look very different and be different because there's different purposes for those. But that's the sort of profile setting up. So that's the sort of step 1 of maybe a 10-step process. So if anyone else got any questions about that, then great. If not, I've got a lot more information to go into. So,
all right, let's go. What's the next topic?
So the next topic really is going to be events, how to set up events.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this stream and we're going to start a new stream for your new lesson, since it's sort of a, this is a little bit different from Clubhouse, or is this part of Clubhouse?
No, this is all about, it's all Clubhouse.
Oh, okay, then, all right, then keep going. Let's talk events on Clubhouse. My apologies, please continue.
Okay, that's fine. So once you actually set up your profile, and you're going to go into rooms, and you're going to be able to join rooms. The way you find your rooms is by going to the search facility, which is like a microscope, a magnifying glass, sorry, and it's in the hallway, they call it, which is the home page you land on. And if you go into that hallway, there'll be a list of events that are currently going on at that time. And that hallway is shaped by what information you've got in your profile and also who you're connected with on Clubhouse, okay? So the events that you can attend will be shaped by, if you've got networking, entrepreneurship, that sort of stuff in your profile, and you're connected to networkers and entrepreneurs, then that's the sort of events you'll have in your hallway. If you haven't got those words in, the system will give you random events for a while until you start shaping the hallway. If all of a sudden you've got meditation and, you know, mindfulness and health and well-being, then that's the sort of events that will fill up in your hallway. So you can shape your hallway and your experience on Clubhouse by the people you connect with and the type of content you have in your profile. So that's important to make sure you're finding the right events, okay? And then, once you've been going to events for a while, okay, a lot of people decide they want to set up their own events. They want to set up their own rooms. You can set up public rooms, and you can set up private rooms, and you can set up one-on-one rooms. So the majority of people set up a public room. So you can go into the hallway, you can say start a room, which is like a big green button on the home page. And then when you click start a room, it allows you to either set up a public room, or you can set up a room under a club name, or you can set up the private room. And it gives you the ability to write a description of what your room is going to be about. And when you write that and create that description, again then, you can go live straight away, you'll set up a room, and then the description of the room will be advertised in the hallway. And other people you're connected with will also be notified of that room. If you obviously knew, you won't be connected with anyone, so no one would be notified of the room, which means you'd be sat in a room on your own, pretty much. So the whole idea is, before you start setting up with rooms, you start following people who you resonate with, people who are likely to be interested in the same sort of stuff as you, or the same sort of interest areas as what you're going to be doing rooms for. So that when you start doing a room, they'll see the title, and it'll be relevant to them. So you need to go networking and connecting with people, go to rooms similar to the rooms that you want to set up, and see if you can raise your hand, give some value, maybe be turned into a moderator. The more you can go up and talk and then potentially do moderating, the more you'll get followers, and the more you're building a contacts and database for when you start doing your own rooms. So that's how I sort of got going, is I kept doing some of my own rooms, and I kept going to other rooms where I could add value. So these are like podcasting rooms or speaker rooms, other networks, you know, coaching rooms, etc. Is that a question, a hand raised, Michelle?
Yeah, so I'm so new to like my business with my campus chef consultant, and I really would like to do an event on Clubhouse, and I was wondering if you would like help me, because I've never opened up a room, but just for fun, just so I could offer others like a huge discount when we have amazing things with campus chef, like 60% off on blenders and grills and, you know, slow cookers. And I want to be able to advertise that, just because everyone needs some cooking supplies or utensils. So I don't know how to go about it, but I would love your support.
Yeah, well, I would definitely be able to help you. I help people all the time. That's what I do. I'm a philanthropic entrepreneur. So yeah, we'll talk separately after this session, and I'll definitely, I can do more intense one-on-ones or questions and answers, and support people. I've actually had quite a lot of people set up their clubs, and I've taught people how to moderate by making them moderators in my room, and also by letting them observe me in my room. A lot of people have moderated for the first time in my room, and then gone on and set up their own rooms. And I teach people how to moderate as well, because, you know, I used to be a sales manager and a sales director, and I've also done a lot of ambassador roles in networks where I've actually managed tables and stuff like that. So I've just transferred skills from elsewhere into Clubhouse, which is why I'm like an advanced user of Clubhouse, even though I've only been on it for 3 months, because I'm a detailed person, and I've got a lot of transferable skills from elsewhere. So more than happily help you with that. So then when it goes to setting up your own event, no problem. So when you set up your own event, you can set it up live, which means it just goes straight away live. So you give it a name, you set it up, and then you wait for people to come in, and the whole way will advertise your event, which means people will see it, and if they're interested or it's a good name, they'll pop in. Or if you've been connected with people for a while, like I suggested you do, there's a little button, a plus button, at the bottom of the screen, which allows you to press it, and you can pin in your friends. So the people who already follow you and you follow them, you can actually pin them in, it's called, and that means you invite them to the room and they get a little notification seeing if they want to come. Now, if you ping a lot of people and you've got no relationships up with, they're not going to come in, yeah? Or if they're busy people and they're busy in other rooms, they won't come in. But if you've been building good relationships up with people and delivering value for a while, then they're more likely to come and listen to you in your room. So I've actually got a lot of people I've built lots of good relationships with for a long time, which means as I open up a room and I ping people in, I get people coming in. And that's how you build up a crowd. And what happens is the more people you've got coming in, the more people you turn to moderators, and the more people you have in on stage, the more Clubhouse sees that as filling up as a room, and it'll start advertising you in the hallway of Clubhouse. So you actually, a crowd draws a crowd, if you like. And so once you get a nucleus of people coming to your rooms, Clubhouse highlights the room to other people, and you get more people in the hallway, because there's a lot of rooms going on all of the time. So where your priority goes in the hallway is based on like how many people are coming to your room and that sort of thing. Is there much energy in the room? Is there a lot of people building and joining, or are they all leaving? And so your Clubhouse position in the hallway can be at the top, and then it can drop to the bottom based on, you know, how the room is going. So that's important to remember. And then, as well as being able to set up these live rooms, instantaneous rooms, you also, through your profile, you can go to the settings tab, which is a little wheel, a little cog. So you go into your profile on Clubhouse, you go to the settings tab, and then you click on the events, my events section, and to the right-hand side of the events section is a little plus button, which basically means add an event. So as well as doing the live real-time events, you can actually click on the added event in the calendar section, and you actually then can set up an event and schedule it for the future. So you can actually set up an event for you know, a day's time, 2 days' time, a week's time, however long you want to, set it ahead of the game, and then you've actually then got a link for that room. So if you actually set up the room ahead of the game, you can actually set up co-moderators, which means you let other people know you want them to be in the room to help you run the room. So you can set up co-moderators and co-hosts. You can give the event a description, and then you can schedule it to be, you know, next week or whatever. And then when you schedule it to be next week, once you've actually saved the event, it asks you if you want to put it into your calendar. And because you're doing all of this on your iPhone or your iPad, I always say yes, stick it into my Apple iCalendar. And then once it's in your Apple iCalendar, you can go into the event on your calendar and copy and paste the URL, and you can start marketing that URL across all your other social media platforms. I use Instagram because Instagram is connected to the profile, and so a lot of the people from Clubhouse follow me on my Instagram. So therefore, I'll share the event. I'll put a picture of the event, because you can do a screenshot of the event with the date and the time and the name and the description and the co-host. So you do that screenshot, you post it on Instagram with a link to the event. That link won't actually work on Instagram, but it'll showcase people the event name, and they could write down the URL and join it. Or what I do is I set up a link tree, and I'll put the link into my link tree, which is linked in my bio. So that when you're marketing the event, you can say to people, click on the event in my link tree, and you can join the event on the day, yeah? Or copy and paste the link, stick it into your calendar, remind you to come to the event on Monday or next Sunday or next Saturday. The more you give people notice, and the more you give them an easy way of finding your event and joining it, the more people you'll get to your event and the less friction you have. So it's all about, you know, pre-planning, getting the link, making it easy for people, and encouraging them to come, yeah? So that's how to set up events. The difference between setting up these one-off, off-the-cuff, spur-of-the-moment events, or the pre-scheduled, planned, sort of more diarised events. Yeah. Now, if you want to set up a club, which is another key part of Clubhouse, then you need to do 3 events with the same name, at least on the same time for 3 weeks running. Yeah. If you do that, then you're actually then being recognised as setting up a regular room. And as you're setting up a regular room, you can then set up a club. So what's the difference between a club and a room? Well, a room is like a one-off networking event, and a club is like a database of people that you can bring into your community. And when you set up rooms in the future, that database of people get notified of your room. So as I mentioned earlier, you can have a lot of followers and people following you, and that's one way of getting people to be notified when you set up a room.
Hi, Julie.
And in order for them to be notified when you set up a room, they have to follow your account. They also have to select the notifications tab, which is a bell next to the profile.
We're hosting a live Zoom meeting right now. If you'd like to join, from 1 to 2:30, we're teaching Clubhouse strategies. From 2:30 to 3, LinkedIn.
People say, I want to follow this guy, and
from 3:30 to 4:30 Canva, 4:30 to 5 songwriting, and 5 to 5:30 DNA issues. So if you want to join, you're welcome to jump on the Zoom link.
And only a small percentage of that
Does that interest you?
will actually be online at any one time, because it's a global platform. There's lots of different time zones and whatever. So there's only a small amount of people until you build up a really big following. They'll actually get notified of your rooms. But if you build up a club, you can build up hundreds or thousands of people in your club. And then whenever a room gets set up in that club,
Julie,
all of those people get notified of the room.
We're actually all on the Zoom link if you want to join us. The link is, yeah. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I'm unfortunately sitting here replying in the middle of filing deadline. You will know, so I can't be in it, but I just wanted to say hi. Let's join the next one.
I'm so glad you did. Start coming on Tuesdays. You can teach a course. You can come network with us.
Do you raise your hand?
Okay, I'll try. I'll try.
All right, I have to go, but I'll catch you later.
Okay.
Hello, this has been fabulous. Thank you. So much information, and I cannot wait to get started. My question is, please, Suppose I have to cancel the event. Is there an easy way to do that? Thank you.
I've actually never cancelled an event, so it's not something I know. But my guesstimation would be, I've been into events and edited them, okay? So I'm pretty sure, I'm just thinking from memory, but when you go in and edit an event, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to cancel it then, or at least rearrange it for another time. I'm pretty sure there will be a delete function. I say pretty sure because Clubhouse do have some things, some anomalies, some areas that, to be honest with you, are obvious that they should do something about, but they still don't. It's been beta testing. It's actually not the real live version. So, you know, there are glitches in the system. There are some major issues, which if I got time towards the end of my presentation, I will cover. Yeah, I'll go into some of the things I think they should do something about, but that's not really, I'd rather teach people about what they've got right now rather than what I think they should do something about. But I'm pretty sure you can, well, I know you can edit an event, so I'm pretty sure at that point you'd be able to delete it. But if not, you could just go and edit it for the following week if you could make that week, which would be a solution anyway. And I'm a solutions person. I find a way around every problem because there always is a way around the problem. And that's another laws of life. So, you know, for every problem, there is a solution and you just got to find it. So yeah, so that's the event section. Does anyone else have a question for me on the setting up of events? No? Okay, brilliant. Okay, we'll move on. So I'm going to talk a little bit next about Instagram, because Instagram is connected to Clubhouse, and to me, it's like a symbiotic relationship. Yeah, how to get a lot out of Instagram, or how to get a lot out of Clubhouse is how to utilize Instagram. So, so what I advise people to do is to link their Instagram account to their profile. Okay, and then if you don't use Instagram very much, or even if you do, what my suggestion is when somebody clicks onto your Instagram profile, they see 9 images on the screen. What I advise people to do is to put all of the 9 things they do in their life, put an image up of that thing in their Instagram. So for example, if they're selling a book, put their book front cover as a post on Instagram. If they've got a Facebook group they want people to join, put the Facebook group, like a screenshot of the Facebook group with a name, for that as a post on Instagram. If they've got a Twitter account, put the Twitter account into your profile and do a post on Instagram. If you've got a LinkedIn page or a company page, do a screenshot of that, stick it as a post on Instagram. Basically, fill up the 9 squares with relevant posts of places you want to send people to. Then what I advise people to do is to set up a link tree, which is free, and stick a link to all of those 9 things, or 12 or 15 or however many things you want to send people to. Create a link tree, stick a link into all of those things, put it as a link in your bio, because in Instagram you only have 1 link. So by having a link tree as your 1 link, you can then link to everything you want to send people to. So again, if you're on there for business, for pleasure, for networking, for hobbies, for interests, you might want to direct people to different parts of your social media or your books or your clubs, your networks. So my actual Instagram is called @Armstrong Speaker. I've got about 10 Instagram accounts, but that's the one I use for Clubhouse, @Armstrong Speaker. And if you have a look at that, you can go to my link tree and you can see I don't actually post the 9 posts of all the different things I recommend people to do, because I constantly post on Instagram all the time. So I'm constantly posting these things in chains, and I do a lot of TikToks and Instagram videos and all that sort of thing. But if I wasn't using Instagram a lot, I would just stick 9 static images as a link to what I said. I stick the 9 links in my link tree, and I direct people to those 9 things. I myself have got about 20, 25 links in my link tree. And so I'm linking people, and when I'm on Clubhouse talking about different things, I'm talking about my podcast, I go to my profile, and I go to my link tree, and I go to my podcast. I'm talking about my YouTube. I like to see if you want to connect with me, I'll subscribe to you, you subscribe to me, go to my link tree, go to my podcast on YouTube, and we can connect with you. If you want to go to my website, if you want to come to a networking event, if you want to come to that, if you want to happened to my Clubhouse. I don't know, when I come to my local group, I don't know. So literally, the places I can connect people to, which is really my profile. Whilst I'm on Clubhouse all the time, talking about these things, I can send them wherever I want to. A friend of mine, Paul, is doing an event with Jordan Belfort, who wants to Wall Street. This is I share everybody's links because I believe in what goes around comes around. I like to help other people market themselves. Hopefully they like to market me, but if not, maybe they'll pay it forward to someone else. Whatever. Who cares? It's just good energy. It's good for life. To help other people out. So that's what I do. That's why I would recommend other people to do as well. Reduce the round phase of my does anyone have any questions about what I've covered there? What did you reach out?
That was incredible. So valuable. Thank you.
In order to be valued, you've got to give value. You've got to be valued by people. So give as much value as you can without any expectation of anything in return. Another law of life. And you have a good life. And if not, you'll just be happy. It's always good to do good for others. It's always good to deliver value. But anyway, moving on to moderating a room. So once you actually set up your room and your events, then you actually want to actually run a room and run an event. Well, there's a lot of people get this wrong because they talk too much, talk too long, or they don't value everyone in the room. They're just trying to get people into the crowd and trying to tell them something. There's all sorts of reasons why moderating can go bad or wrong. There's some people who tear strips off people, talk down to them, whatever, be rude. All of these things are things that can go wrong. So what I do is quite unique in my room, but what I do is I make everyone a moderator. So once I get to someone for a while and get to know them, I make them all moderators. The reason I do that is because it builds their confidence. They actually start helping and active and all of that. But also I believe that everyone has value and everyone's equal. And some moderators think they're better than the non-moderators because they're a moderator, because they've got a little green badge next to their name. So what I'm trying to do is put everyone on a level playing field. And I think that's quite good, whatever event you do, whatever room you do, wherever you are in life, always keep people in respect. Keep them on a level playing field. It doesn't matter if they're earning $10 an hour or $1 billion an hour, they're still a human being, they still have value to them. What I do is I make everyone moderate. I'm not telling everyone to do that, but it is a good, it's worked well for me. If you do, you've got to be careful who you give the moderator badge to, because there are trolls on the system, and they can actually evict you from your own room. That's the difference between moderators and not moderators. That you give people the ability to bring people up and move people down on the stage. So I actually trust people, and I've actually had it backfire on me once or twice. Not very often, and I still do it because most people are good, and just because you have a bad experience doesn't mean that you shouldn't trust the majority of good people. So I make everyone moderators, treat everybody equally. That's a good way of, for me, running a room. If you didn't want to put yourself to the exposure and the risk of making everyone moderators, put everyone an equal footing on the stage and just give everyone a fair chance to have a speak and give them the culture and the rules that they can get involved in the conversation, that they can do whatever they want in the room within reason. Like I let people promote their rooms, promote their events, promote their events, just do whatever they want to do. As long as they're respectful and they're not taking the mick, then I let people do what they do. And if they do something out of hand, disrespectful, then I would tell them, and then I'd give them a warning. And if they did it again, I'd probably move them off the room. So it's not being fair and even and equal, and giving everyone respect and responsibility. That's something which I do. But then, whether you're making people moderators or not, I think the key thing is that people come into the room, and some people like to listen, and some people like to get involved in the conversation. So what I would advise people to do is if people want to listen, let them listen. Sometimes you'll invite them to speak, but if they don't want to speak, they'll say yes and they'll come out onto the stage. A lot of people like to listen like a podcast or a radio show. So I've seen moderators constantly trying to invite people up from the audience. They're trying to fill up their room. What I would say is fill up the room yourself and let the people who want to listen, listen. That's what they're there for, they're listening. Don't be overzealous and try and get everyone up ask them, invite them up. If they don't want to come up, let them have their right to just listen, like if they're listening to a podcast or a radio show. So that's something which I do. And then the people who come up on the stage, what I make sure is that we get to the people who are new to the room especially, and also people who've just come up on the stage. Try and get to them as quickly as possible. Because what I've noticed in some of the bigger rooms is that the moderators end up having a chat amongst themselves. There's all sorts of stuff going on. There's 10 people in the queue, and literally some people are waiting hours just to have a say. I think that's a really bad experience. And life's not about giving a bad experience, it's a good experience, especially if you want to build rapport and relationships. So one of the key things I teach my group to do, whoever's moderating, because I run a 24/7 room, but I can't be on there 24/7. So I do sleep occasionally, and I do come on networking events and do podcasts and stuff now and then. So I give everyone moderator status, but I usually make someone the prime moderator. There always has to be somebody in charge, because I think someone needs to control things. I make someone the prime moderator, and those people, the people I make prime moderators, I always make sure that they know if anyone new comes to the room, get down to them quickly, get them to introduce themselves, make them feel welcome, make them feel warm, and then they'll join us by the community. They'll join us next time. They'll want to come back when you do other rooms. So if you give people a good experience and you give them good value, they're going to keep coming back to your events. If you treat them bad, don't give them no value, and don't treat them well, then they're not going to come back to your events. So you're constantly going to be trying to bring new people to your events all the time, because the people who will come in and have a good experience. So it's like walking around with a hole in your bucket. People put water in, and the people keep popping out to the other end. So, so make sure that you're giving people a good experience. And that means you do have moderators sometimes who just want to get into a conversation, but I will butt into that conversation occasionally when there's new people there, and I'll say that's a great conversation, but I think you guys should take that offline or in a private room or whatever, because we've got some new people we need to get to. Once they understand that's the culture of the room, people don't mind being interrupted in their conversation, because especially if they're regulars, they know how the room works, and the people who are new don't. So you don't want to alienate the new people for the sake of the fact you already know how things work, you're already comfortable in the room. There's some of the moderating tips that I would give people. They're sort of normal, what I would say, customer service or giving value to others and treating people with respect type things. But you'll be amazed how many people don't think about other people. They don't think about new businesses. People don't know what's going on, and they just get involved and wrapped up in their own community, their own world, their own conversations, and blank everyone else out, which is rude. What I would say, and definitely not the way to go. So that's some of my tips on moderating. Occasionally, I will let somebody, I'll try and give everyone a short period of time and then move to other people. But if there's no one in the queue or there's no one else coming in, I will allow people to go into a bit more detail on what it is that they want to say. So again, it's about thinking on your feet, being adaptable and flexible, and not just cutting everyone off at 30 seconds or a minute. You do that when the room's fuller, but then when it's emptier, you can give people a bit more time. So I think flexibility is one of life's greatest skills, whether you're an entrepreneur, a friend, a business person, a networker, a socializer, whatever. Being flexible and adaptable and working within the current conditions is a key attribute, and something that should be exercised and learned, really. So you're not just one size fits all, because one size never fits all. You have to be able to adapt your approach and tailor your offering and your solution to the audience and the time and the situation and how people do it, and all these sort of things. So, all these rules, they're not hard and fast. They're guidelines to be able to sort of work within based on other metrics and situations. So that's sort of my moderator tips. Are there any questions on that so far that we goes in with? Have you got any questions? If you have, raise your hand or pop something into the chat, and I'll see if I can deal with them. Okay, so I think there's no questions. We'll move on to the next topic area, which is setting up clubs. So as mentioned already, it said, if you set up a room with the same name at the same time for 3 weeks consistently, then you'll be able to set up a club. And these rules change a bit now and then as well. So that used to be before you could set up a club automatically. You used to have to set it up 3 weeks in a row and then send an email to Clubhouse. But then Clubhouse brought in a new rule recently and a new way of setting up clubs, which means you can set up to 2 a month yourself through your profile. So I'm not 100% sure whether they've changed the 3 weeks in a row thing now, but I know sometimes when people first come onto Clubhouse, they can't set up a club automatically, and then after a while they can. So I don't know what Clubhouse's criteria for that is, whether it's still the 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 weeks in a row at the same time in the same name, or whether they've made it, slightly less criteria now, as it's more an automated process rather than a manual process. But either way, be consistent setting up rooms and with titles and with names and at times, and you will find the ability to set up a club. Now, the way you set up a club is you go to your profile, and right the way at the bottom of the page, just where your Twitter and your Instagram links are, there's a section called clubs you're connected with. And as well as obviously following other friends and connecting with other people, you can actually follow clubs. You can join some clubs as well. So you might want to join an entrepreneur club or a networking club or a business club or a meditating club or a fitness club, whatever. And one of the clubs you join, they're at the bottom of the page. And then if you scroll to the right of all of the clubs that you're a member of, or if you're not a member of any clubs, then you should just have a circle with a plus there. So all of these clubs are little circles at the bottom of the page. And once you scroll to the right of all the clubs you actually are a member of, there will be a little circle with a plus, which you can press that button, and you set up a club through that gateway. So it can then ask you, for your club name, for the club interest areas, the topics of conversation. It asks you for a description of the club and that sort of thing. You get another profile to fill in, similar to your own personal profile, which you can fill in for the club, which says what the club's all about. So again, I like to put in emojis and lots of details so people know what the club's all about. And then once you fill that in, you press setup, and it'll set up the club, and then the circle will be the first circle at the bottom left-hand side. So at the bottom of the profile, your club goes to the left-hand side, and then all the other clubs that you may be a member of will move a little bit over to the right. You can set up 2 clubs per month if you're active. If you're not active, I think you just let you have 2 clubs. If you're proactive and you're busy and you're setting up events a lot, and they allow you to have more clubs. So I actually set up 2 clubs about a month ago, and then this morning I set up 2 more clubs. Because I've been active and busy, it allowed me to set up 2 more clubs a month after I set up my first 2 clubs. So I've now got 4 clubs, and they're for doing different events and different things in, and for building different communities. And that's how you set up clubs. And you actually can set up clubs with similar names. So, that's just, it's a bit like setting up a website or a business. Sometimes you'll have other websites that are similar to yours. You can do the same with clubs as well. But what I would suggest is if you are setting up a Clubhouse profile and you do want to set up a club in the future, set it up straight away at the beginning, because someone else might take your name. And so if then they start building a community, they may start getting recognised for your club name before you do, and then you lose the traction, they gain the traction, and they can start doing a club, that people resonate with, and it could be in your area, and then you've lost that. So I'm setting up as many clubs as I can, because I've got 250 social media accounts, I've got 100 Facebook pages and 50 Facebook groups, and it's about setting up your clubs with the right keyword name so that people will find it and join it if it's relevant to them. So, if you want to set up a group for meditation, or you want to set up a group for fitness or health or wellbeing or networking or business or social media, whatever, and if you set up a club quickly and early and start gathering members, it's going to help you to fill your rooms quicker. And if you delay and you wait ages, and then all of a sudden you find someone else has already got a club for those sort of people and you missed out. That would be something I suggest to do. Give your club, like anything you do on the internet, give it a good keyword description where people who are going to go to the search facility are going to be able to find your club. Because if you call it, the purple orange club, because you like random names, that's going to look funny and good when you show it to people. But when people are searching for it, they're not going to know what to find because they don't. Nobody is going on searching for purple or orange or clubs. So so I set up my clubs like I've got one called Strong Communicators, and that's for people who are in the communications sector. And I'm looking for the best of the strong ones. And then I put in the description, I'm looking for podcasters, speakers, coaches, social media influencers, global networkers, people like that. So then when people are searching for clubs with those keywords in, they're going to find my club because I've got the description in, I've got the keywords in, there's something that signifies communications in the title. So you literally got ways that people can find you. So many people give their name something random, and people can't find you there, which could be a pain in the backside, and you end up losing out on club members. So you want to be found, like with all social media and all search facilities. So keywords are often best for that. So that's how to set up a club. Does anyone have any questions at all? Would you like to raise your hand or pop something into the chat if you've got any questions about clubs?
I have a question. Must you have a formal clubhouse to have an event?
No. You can just set up rooms off the cuff and start to have an event. You just set up a room and start having an event. What you need to do is have a club and a clubhouse and lots of followers if you want to have a big event. So that would be the difference.
What's the true benefit to having a clubhouse as opposed to just setting an event?
Well, your event will only get marketed to the people who are following you and have set up the alert to follow you. So that's going to be a small percentage of people. Whereas having a club is like having a database of people, and if you build up that database of people over time, then every time you set up a room, it actually lets all of that database know you set up the room. So it's a bit like having an email database marketing list rather than just having 10 emails of people you just met at an event and you send an email to them once.
And it's a massive difference. Massive.
Yeah, it's a massive difference. Yeah, because obviously you can build up a club and a community to be a big community over time. And obviously then that's a bit like building up an email marketing database. Just builds and builds and builds and builds, which means you're going to get some traction. The numbers make a difference. If you get 10% of engagement, well, having 10% of 100 is only 10. Having 10% of 100,000, 10,000. So, in marketing, everything's always a percentage. And whatever that percentage is, the bigger the number you're making the percentage of, the bigger the amount of engagement you get. So having followers will bring so many people to your room. Having a club will bring so many more people to your room. And the followers still come as well. So you get the 10x of your following and 10x of your attendance because you've got the people who are following you and extracting your alarm and alerts. You've also got the massive database of people who've been building up over months and then years over time, which then become your bigger community.
Wow, this is huge, and I want to welcome Fraser. Look at that, your friend all the way from Scotland, or is it Ireland?
He's my friend from Scotland, but actually he's my friend from Clubhouse. So if you build good engagement and good connections with people on Clubhouse, and you'll find them in your Zoom rooms and stuff, because that's what Clubhouse does, is it allows you to build good relationships and good engagement with like-minded people. And so like-minded people, you connect with them on Clubhouse and you invite them elsewhere and they go elsewhere. So I invited Fraser to this network, I think last week, and he came last week and then this week. I actually didn't even make it last week, but he came. But that's, I got loads of my Clubhouse friends have joined me on Instagram, they joined me on Facebook, they joined me in Zoom events, they join you everywhere because it's a good solid community of people who you have a good relationship with because you actually have a conversation with them and you engage with them and you find out how their day has been, and you get to find out their good points and their bad points and their honest points. Whereas with some social media, you only get to see what they want to show you. So it's not as authentic, it's not as natural, it's not as genuine. And it takes a lot longer to build a genuine connection with somebody via texting, you know, rather than just having a conversation with somebody.
No, I think, I mean, I've, even since, let me put my camera on, even since before Corona, I was networking. I think we started this networking group in October of 2019. We were gathering in a hotel at that time. And, but then of course, once the COVID hit, we immediately pivoted to the digital Zoom outlet. And I have to tell you, it's actually opened up the audience. It's let me meet you. I mean, I would have never met you if it wasn't for the COVID-19. I would have never met Fraser. And even though they're not on screen, people are listening audio. We have about 12 people in the Laws of Life Learning right now, Mike. I think for a first spontaneous Laws of Life Learning, that's a smash. You agree? Oh, you're on mute. So I'm pretty excited.
For me, you know, I'm a detailed person, and I've been using Clubhouse, like I say, for 12 weeks. You know, 24 hours a day for 10 weeks, more or less. And I'm a detailed person, so there's things about Clubhouse I know that other people just won't find, because they don't go looking in the places I go looking. And so, you know, this is why I like to share information with others, because they won't find it. So if I don't share it to them, then they won't know it. And I like to me, a rising tide lifts all boats. If I'm rising up, I want other people to rise up too. If my knowledge is gaining, I want their knowledge to gain too.
That is so true. You know, in a way, we have a lot in common, Mike, because we're like networking journalists. We like to discover opportunities, and we thrive in sharing them. Do you agree?
Yeah. Well, I've been managing people since I was 18, which is like 25 years. I used to get paid to look after people. And now I'm not in management position, I'm self-employed. But so I don't get paid to look after people, but I still have the skill set and I enjoy it. So I'm like, well, why not do it? You know, if you can, then why not? So there's a couple of areas of Clubhouse I haven't covered yet.
Okay, please, go for it.
Which I'm going to cover, because I've still got about 13 minutes left.
Absolutely, knock it out of the park, my friend.
So there's a couple of things which I've been in touch to do, which a few other people haven't, so I want to share that. One of them is, if you go down to the bottom of your profile on Clubhouse, just below the Twitter and the Instagram link, and above where the clubs are, it gives you the name of the person who invited you.
Correct.
And that's on your own profile. And if you have a look at someone else's profile, it gives you the name of the person who invited them. Okay? Now, often, people who invite other people on Clubhouse are people who are connected with them in some way. They might be in the same industry or the same business or whatever, because often the Clubhouse invite is given to somebody's #1 contact, because they're like, oh, I want to sort you out, you're my mate, or you're my business partner, or my associate, or my colleague, or my networking buddy, or whatever. So that's how the membership is handed out. So, if you actually search in the search bar from the hallway for certain people, or you meet people in certain rooms and you're like, oh, that's bang on my avatar, or bang on the type of person I like to meet or connect with or whatever, and if you actually click on their profile and you scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on who invited them, you can hit the link to that person and see their profile. And you can actually work your way back from the person who invited them, to the person who invited them, to the person who invited them, to the person who invited them. So you can actually work your way back all the way through the chain of who these people are connected with. Yeah? And so, for example, say you were into real estate and you looked at a real estate person's profile and you looked at who invited them, if you click on the link, the chances are there'll be another real estate person and another real estate person. And so if you actually, say for example, I was doing an event and it was aimed at real estate people, well then I would just look for some real estate people, track them back to the people who invited them, and find some more real estate people. Or go to a real estate podcaster who's guests are real estate people, and he'll be connected to a load of real estate people. or whatever. So there's ways of using the facility to find the people you want to find in life that other people may not know because they don't delve into these spaces. So that's something which I think not a lot of people know, because whenever I tell people, they didn't realise you could do that. But it's a way I built up a lot of my connections quite quickly as well, is I searched for the sort of people I know I would get on with. I have a strong communicators mastermind. I'm interested in speakers, coaches, global networkers, podcasters, social media influencers, all the things I do, sales and marketing professionals. Yeah, these are all the things I have a lot of content on. I do a lot of work in. I can talk the language. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to resonate with these sort of people. If I go looking for them on Clubhouse, they're going to connect with me. I'm going to connect with them. I'm building my community, my tribe. When I'm doing events, it's going to fill up quicker because my tribe is there, my community is there. People who talk the same language, who are interested in the same things. They're there. So, you know, Fraser, who's here on the call now, is a podcaster. I'm a podcaster. So, you know, we have something in common. You know, people always bond over commonality, common ground. This isn't just a Clubhouse tip, this is a networking tip. Find the people you have in common, find the commonality, but also be flexible, be adaptable, to have lots of interests and lots of areas of enthusiasm. Because the more enthusiastic and interested you are in different areas, the more you can expand your community, your tribe, outside of your, you know, basic bang-on tribe to a wider community, a wider tribe. And I'm a global networker, I'm a global podcaster, I'm a global speaker. I want my tribe to be as big as it can be, as big. I want to be as impactful to the world as I can be. That means I need to be connected with and resonating with more and more people in more and more diverse areas of life. So you can't do that. You don't just, you know, an IT guy who's into coding, and that's all you're interested in. Well, you can resonate with other IT guys coders. No, that's have a clue what you're on about or anything. You need to diversify. You need to have different areas of interest. You need to be passionate about different things and find commonality with as many people as possible. And, you know, I've been doing that, diversifying and having wide interest areas all my life, which is what makes me an award-winning networker and an award-winning sort of sales and marketeer, because I can speak to no matter whether you're, you know, king in the streets, whether you're, you know, casting, whether you're a new to speaking person, whether you're running event companies, little ones, massive ones, whether you're a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, you know, an astronaut, a doctor. There's no difference to me who you are. I can communicate with somebody on that level, and I will find something in common with them. Because if you're interested in a lot of things and you're passionate about a lot of things, there will always be some commonality. There will always be something that you can share, and a shared experience, a shared interest, whatever, with people. I want you to bond with people on a level, then to know, like, and trust, and then that's what leads to doing business. So, diversify and be adaptable and flexible, and don't just pigeonhole yourself into one community or one sector. Work outside of that, because that's where the real magic happens. Yes, great things will happen with your core community. The only way you can grow as a person and as a business is by diversifying and collaborating and partnering with people who they have skills and expertise in different areas than what you do. And the more you can work with those people, the more you'll be able to become, you know, a top entrepreneur, a top person, a top influence in the sector, or a top person who can move across sectors, you know, move across countries, whatever. And that's what I would suggest you do. And, you know, Clubhouse, global platform for global citizens. The best thing about Clubhouse right now is it's got all the top influencers from all the top sectors in the world. So if you want to get on and get connected with movers and the shakers of any industry sector, you can go and find the clubs, find the rooms, find the events, and you can actually end up on stages with them, chatting with these guys who normally try and phone and they wouldn't even get through the receptionist. You wouldn't get nowhere near some of these guys that are on Clubhouse. You can actually just join a room, jump on stage, and have a chat with them. And some of the information is invaluable. So like I said, the 7 things I like to do in life is I like to listen, I like to speak, I like to learn, I like to teach, I like to network, I like to collaborate, and you can do all of those things on Clubhouse, and at the moment it's free. They have just actually added a monetization bit to Clubhouse, which was the new update this Sunday. And so now you can actually donate, you can tip some of the speakers and the moderators and stuff. And that's only been rolled out to a small test case and will increase. It will happen soon. And then, so if you go into a room and you like what somebody said, or somebody given some value, you can give them a tip. So there will be people going on to Clubhouse now and looking to make business out of Clubhouse. So I may be one of them because I spent so much time on Clubhouse, I might as well get paid for doing so. If I can find a way of delivering some value to people, which I do anyway, I do constantly do all throughout the day. But, for me, I want to deliver some super value. I want to charge someone for something. So, I deliver super value through giving connections and giving training and knowledge information. But yeah, when if people want to tip me, that's up to them, isn't it? But you're going to find other people finding different ways of utilising that payment structure that's added into it. So, watch this space. Clubhouse is ever evolving. It's always changing. There's lots of different things going on all the time. All I would suggest to people is, you're not on Clubhouse, get on Clubhouse, because otherwise you're missing out on a massive opportunity to make a difference in your sector and to be a key person of influence in your sector. So we've got a few minutes to go. Does anyone have any questions at all based on everything I've covered so far to date? Over to you, Addy.
Okay, so you covered so much, and thank you very, very much. I loved all the different aspects, and now I feel like I want to go create my profile on Clubhouse because I've only been on it a few times. And yeah, and not only that, but you made it sound like fun and exciting. So I'm in. My question is, most of the rooms that you go into, and you may have already covered this, and say I believe quickly, but the rooms that you go into, typically you're not able to be on stage. So making those connections with those people or asking questions, is it just more about listening, generally, like a listening?
No, so what I would do, in the big rooms, the people can be harder to reach because they're in with 30 other moderators, there's thousands of people in the room, there's lots of people raising their hand. They can only let so many people up on stage, etc. But what I would do, if you want to connect with some of those moderators in those big rooms, then what I would say is follow them, give the alert and the notification of them, and find out when they're opening up in a smaller room, because some of them do go into smaller rooms. Some of the big moderators in some of the big rooms, you'll find it in the big rooms. My room, which is a small room, it runs 24/7. I've got about 600 members, but they're never all in it at once. You know what I mean? They come in and out different times of the day. But you'll find some of the moderators in big rooms, in my room and other rooms. What you do is you don't try and approach them in a big room, just wait until they come into a smaller room where it's easier to get with them and have a conversation with them, etc. So that's what I would suggest you to do there. And like I'm not interested in just going to listening rooms unless I'm going for a run or a bike ride or a walk and I'm just listening to the podcast or radio. But very rarely would I do that because I would just listen to my own room. But you can go in and just listen to somebody, deliver like a seminar or a workshop or whatever, and you could just listen in. For me, I want to get involved in the conversation. So what I do is I go into a big room and I'll raise my hand. If I'm not on stage, I'm out again. I'll just find somewhere where I can get on the stage. I'm not there just to listen. I'm there to communicate, to